could talk specifically about this tribute band, but basically what I wanted to get from you is like, and it's not a Q&A. You're gonna have to start clean because it'll be a clip. Is like what Coltrane meant to you in your life and when that happened to you.
Well, I first became aware of Coltrane's music when I was in 10th grade, and I grew up in a music family. You know, my brother Randy, of course, you know, is a great trumpet player and composer. And I have a sister who's a pianist, and my father was an attorney and a pianist. So there was always, and he was a jazz pianist, so there was always jazz in the house. And he particularly was fond of the trumpet, and so I got to hear Miles's band live a bunch of times, but never with Coltrane in it. And first became aware of Coltrane on a shopping expedition I did with one of my friends. When I was in 10th grade, and he bought a Dizzy Gillespie record, and I bought a Coltrane album, live at Birdland. And that was a pretty bizarre record to be the first time I had been, for a fledgling listener, because the music was so intense and absolutely riveting. It was intense. It was it was modal. A lot of it was modal music with long solos, and I had never heard drums play with that kind of intensity and crashing. And Coltrane was playing in a style and with a sound that I was not accustomed to. And I didn't like the record at first. I liked my friend's record, which was a Dizzy Gillespie record, but it really caught my attention, and I began listening to it every day until finally, after listening to it for a while over a period of probably months, I began to understand what was going on. I started buying other Coltrane records and became really interested in his music, and it, to the degree that it became an enormous influence in the direction that I chose for a life's endeavor. Coltrane's music was both spiritual and certainly intellectual, technically highly developed, emotional, and immensely creative and courageous, and put all those things together, plus the quartet, which the sum of which kind of was one of those groups where the sum beyond equaled the whole. What's the expression? The sum is greater than the whole. It was that group was a phenomenon, and so the power of that group literally kind of propelled me into choosing, or trying to choose, music as a livelihood. Yeah.
2 seconds.
Yeah, 1 sec.
Those Boyds, the filthy, disgusting Boyds.
No, it's just a speck of trash back there.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
He's very neat.
Oh, we got to do it again?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Well, continuity, man. It's not gonna work if you miss both clips.
No one's going to buy it now.
Sorry, I'm talking too long.
No. You're already like you're gonna have to start if you want to answer this from the beginning again. But I mean, you were already a very accomplished first-class musician by the time you had the opportunity to play with McCoy Tyner. But I wonder if, because that whole influence of Coltrane, if it wasn't a intimidating experience to be able to play with that piano that was feeding Coltrane and all those records.
It quite possibly would have been intimidating, an intimidating experience playing with McCoy, who was the pianist, kind of driving the group, the Coltrane Quartet. But I think it wasn't, because McCoy is such just a wonderful human being and generous soul, and just a gracious human being, that somehow, if it was intimidating in mine, the minute I met McCoy and began playing with him, all of that dispersed really quickly, and we had a very immediately a good chemistry. Obviously because I grew up listening to McCoy, who's really not that much older than me, but his playing was so far advanced, and he began playing with Coltrane at a young age. He always seemed, way beyond anything I could dream of. But also, we both grew up in Philadelphia, so we grew up playing with a lot of the same people and exposed to a lot of the same influences. So there was a kind of an immediate chemistry there as well.
Do you want to do a bite about Ravi? You don't have to. You have something to say?
Well, the only thing I can say about Ravi is that he's a unique musical presence. you know, has a very strongly developed, very highly developed musical personality of his own, you know, irrespective of his, you know, famous name and the fact that he comes from this, you know, incredible, you know, legacy of jazz. You know, he's managed, I've always admired him because he's managed to carve his own unique identity, which is very difficult to do. You know, you know, that's intimidating. If you wanted something intimidating, that would be intimidating for me, you know, to have a father who was that accomplished and be able to stick with it and come up with a whole other, you know, kind of equation, you know, that is also incredibly compelling, you know. So I have tremendous respect for him, and I'm going to enjoy playing with him.
Good,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
More than I expected.
Yeah.
Now we have something to play over those long tenor solos.